Welcome, superstar. In this video, I'm going to share with you how the 7 chakras relate to success in business. So first I'm going to address what the chakras even are. I'm going to walk you through them here on my beautiful diagram. Then I'm going to share with you why they matter. And then finally I'm going to walk through each one at a time and share how they relate to business. First of all, the chakras are energy centers. They are like spinning balls of energy, and these are the 7 primary chakras, but we actually have many more chakras in our system. You may have heard about them, you may know a lot about them, but I'm hoping that I can introduce a little bit of a new way of looking at them with respect to how they relate to your business success. Now, the concept of chakras comes from an ancient belief system originating out of India about how energy moves and flows through the body. The idea is that when your chakras are open, energy can move freely. And that when one of these chakras or multiple chakras are blocked, the energy can't travel through quite as well, and it has an impact on the specific area of life that that chakra is related to. Now, one key thing before we get into it is that I'm going to talk about them as these kind of separate things, but they do connect with each other. They're not separate. There's a relationship between all of them, and then very special relationship between pairs of them as well. For example, there's a connection between the root and sacral chakras that'll impact your throat chakra, for example. But I'll get into that later. So let's start with the root, the foundation. The root chakra is this red one here, and it's commonly associated with the feeling of the survival, with your most basic needs, with rootedness in the earth. It's our most primal chakra as well. It's related to the feeling of safety. And when someone has a block in the root chakra, they can feel unsafe. They might not even recognize it. I had a client recently, and we did this event, and we did some work with the root chakra, and he didn't even realize that from childhood, from a time where he had a very awful traumatic experience in childhood, that he never felt safe again after that experience. And so as an adult, he was walking around in the world with that energy blocked and feeling unsafe, which meant that he was struggling in his business. He was struggling with being seen. He was struggling with feeling judged and ridiculed because he felt like everything in the world was going to attack him, was unsafe. And even though this wasn't actually consciously on his mind at the time, subconsciously it was sabotaging a lot of his efforts. So one of the big characteristics of the root chakra is belonging to yourself, like really with the belief that you belong here on this earth, that you were meant to be born, that you are safe on this planet, that you are held, that you are secured. So that is the root chakra. The next one I'm going to get into is the sacral chakra. That is in a woman, that would be in our womb space. The sacral chakra is this lower abdominal area. And if you think about it from the perspective of a woman, that's where we grow babies, right? That's our womb, is where we create life. And so the sacral chakra is related to a few things, but one of them is related to our creativity, what we create in the world. It's also related, like the root chakra, to belonging, but instead of belonging to ourselves and the earth, it's related to us belonging to our communities and our families. It's also connected to sexuality, and there's a very strong link between sexuality and creativity as well. And by the way, there's a huge link between the sacral chakra and the throat chakra that we'll talk about when we get up to that throat chakra. But it's also very much about how we relate in community and what parts of ourselves we disown in order to belong in community. Like if you've ever had the experience as a little kid of being ridiculed or being judged or bullied in some way, and you might feel like it's not safe to express your creativity in the world, you might back up and disassociate from your creativity. So a block in the sacral chakra could look like an inability to connect with others, or to feel belonging, or to feel held in community, or to be able to create and express yourself in the world, among other things. But that's how it'll relate to your business. The third chakra is our solar plexus, which I'm guessing you might not even be able to read against this white. But that's what it says. It says solar plexus. And that's this area here. Now, the solar plexus is related to our will. It's our seat of personal power. It's where we basically gather strength from and say, I will whatever. I will create this. I will do this. I will claim this. I will say no. I will say yes. So this is the place from which our power comes from. And if we have a block in the sacral chakra, we might find it difficult to get things done in the business. You might find a lack of discipline, a lack of willpower, a lack of power in general, like the ability to make stuff happen. This is the seat of action, of activity, of pushing through upper limits. It's also a seat of self-trust. If we have enough power, we can trust ourselves to handle things when things get rough. If we have a problem here and our energy isn't properly harnessed in this area or doesn't properly move through this area, we might find it difficult to commit to things and follow through on those commitments. Now, the heart chakra is this one right here. And the heart chakra is, of course, where the seat of our heart, our open heart, our love. And it's a beautiful thing. It's right here in the middle. Actually, there are 3 chakras below, 3 chakras above. The heart is kind of like a hinge point between these lower chakras, which are more of the primal, right? Our relationship to the land, to the earth, to existence, to community, to family, to creation, to will, to taking action. The heart is where we start to open and we start to move up into these profound channels, right? This is more the up and this is more the down, right? And the up is the connection to the divine. And so the heart is kind of right that in-between area where we move from being this primal animal to being this spiritual being. This is what connects us. Let me do this in green. This is what connects us out to humanity. The heart is what reaches out into humanity, and that's where the empathy comes from, and the ability to empathize and be compassionate and connect to what's going on out into the world, and can be a source of power that can feed the upper chakras and can feed the lower chakras and can create kind of the will to do something new, to do something great in service of others. And a way that you can develop this heart chakra is to really just focus on connecting with others and creating empathy and empathetic connections with other people. From the heart, by the way, also is a place from which our desire to serve our clients might come from love. Now, the throat chakra is connected to communication, with expression, with speaking truth. And so if you're struggling in this area, if you've got some sort of block here, it's possible that you might not want to market yourself. You might not want to put yourself out there. You might feel stilted or stunted in the area of developing your marketing copy, saying what you need to say when you need to say it. All of this might feel disjointed and difficult. Now, there's a strong connection between the throat chakra and the sacral chakra, because this is where our creation comes from, right? Allow the creation to move through us and to be birthed. And then the throat is often the way of expression, whether we're singing or speaking or even writing to some degree, that if we don't feel safe or we don't feel like we belong, it can be very difficult to fully express ourselves. So there's a big connection through there. Now we move up into the third eye, and the third eye chakra is the seat of our intuition, of our inner knowing. It's also the seat of our vision, of what we're creating, what we see out in the world, what we might feel inspired to create. So we might feel inspired to create from here. This creation wants to come up through me, but we can also connect that down here with the vision of, oh, what's possible in the world, and then how do I go ahead and create that? So really, a lot of the third eye is tapping into what's inside of us and really checking in, like, what do I want to create from within in this business? Now, one little trick for you, one little tip for you, I'll say, is that if you want to develop this third eye, you may want to give up drinking tap water, because it is known that fluoride impedes the pineal gland, which is associated with the third eye chakra. And then finally, the crown chakra, which is usually in white or usually in hot pink, but I didn't have either of those colors I couldn't use white because the board is white. So I put it in black, but this is our crown chakra. And the crown chakra moves out from our head, and it basically is the seat of divine connection. This is how we can connect with that which is greater than us, however you perceive that, if that's God, if that's spirit, if that's the universe. But the crown chakra is our connection to that which is greater. So if our root chakra is connection to the earth, this is our connection to the heavens. And again, this can be a source of creation, a source of, instead of creating from within, what do I see that's possible? What is wanting to move through me from that higher order place? Is there a legacy or a calling or something that's wanting to be created through me? So we might be able to connect to this through dreams, through meditation, through tapping into the field. Whereas creation from this place might happen from like moving our bodies and dancing and drum beats and getting creative that way. And the most absolutely fantastic way, in my opinion, to do any kind of creation in business is to have all of these things tapped in, dialed in, tuned in, opened up, and moving energy through the whole system. So I hope that I gave you some fun food for thought about how you can tap into these ancient, mystical ideas to build and grow your business even more successfully. If you're curious about going deeper and actually doing some of the work of clearing this out, let's connect. We can talk if you go to superstaractivator.com/go.